always have to wait for it to start. If we're going to go 90 degrees counterclockwise, we're going to go to the left. Counterclockwise is left. So I'm just going to do 1 point. If I look at -7, -5, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 left and 5 up, right? I'm going 90 degrees, so that's one quadrant. I'm predicting it's going to land in quadrant 3, okay? Quadrant 3 is all positive, positive. I mean, oh my gosh, what am I thinking? Negative, negative. Okay, so every time I move one quadrant, I'm going to switch the signs. Okay, so I've got to switch my numbers. Instead of -7, 5, it's got to be 5 and 7. And because I know it's landing in quadrant 3, they both have to be negative. Okay, that's the rule for rotations. We go to the next slide, and again, I'm just going to do one for each problem. Let's look at Z this time. This time I'm rotating 180 degrees. So if I start at -1, -7, that's going to be down here. Left 1, down 7. So that's Z. I'm rotating 180 degrees. So that's 90. That's one switch. And then that's 90 more, which makes 180. That's another switch. So if I switch them, Z was -1, 7. Now it's going to be 7, 1, but it's going to be +7, -1. And then it's going to switch one more time. So if I go all the way 180 degrees, it's going to be 1, 7. So Z is 1, 7. Every time you switch, every time you rotate 90 degrees, these two numbers switch places. Every time you rotate 90 degrees, they switch places. So if we're just rotating 180 degrees, they switch and switch back. So 1, 7 stays 1, 7. In quadrant, that should be a -7. In quadrant 3, it's negative, negative, and in quadrant 1, it's positive, positive. So this predict piece is the most important part, okay? And if you just do one dot at a time, then you won't get confused. Sometimes, so we would be walking downstairs. We would be walking downstairs after this class. That was an exciting way to wake up. If you weren't awake already, now you are. So where was I? If we do the whole triangle this time, I start at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's point D. And then 6, -2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, -2. That's E. And then 1, -2, 1, -2. That's F, right? We're going 270 degrees counterclockwise, so that's left. So that's 90, 180, 270. D is going to land down here. So we're going to have to switch these, and then switch them back so they don't move, and then switch them one more time. So that's 5, 4, and we know it's landing in quadrant 4, which is positive, negative. So the 4 is negative. Okay, that's how I'm thinking through these. E goes 1, 2, 3 quadrants to here. So that's quadrant 3, which is negative, negative. So E is going to switch and be 2, 6, and negative, negative. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's E. And 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is really hard for me to draw on like this.
Good morning, this is Mrs. Kimball. The fire drill is now concluded. Thank you.
And then we've got 1, -2. 1, -2, that's F. It's going to go 1, 2, 3 quadrants. So 270 is 3/4 of the way around. And so that is going to be 2, 1, and negative. 1, 2, 1. So my pink triangle should be congruent to my blue triangle. They've just rotated 3/4 of the way around the page. Okay. How would I start number 5? Let's pick a point. We want to do R, S, T, or U. You guys choose. U. Okay. What quadrant does U start in? Is that quadrant 1, 2, 3, or 4? 2. Okay. Where is it going to move to if it rotates 180 degrees? Down to quadrant 1. So do I switch those or do I leave them? I'm going to go -8, 4, and then down to quadrant 3 becomes 4, 8, and then over to quadrant 4. So I've switched them and then switched them back. Every time you move to a new quadrant, your ordered pairs switch. So if it came down here 90 degrees, it would be -4, -8. Because it's going 207 or 180 degrees, it's going to go back to the 4, 8. Which one of those is negative? If it's landing in quadrant 4. Is the 4 negative or the 8 negative? The 8. Okay. So U prime becomes 4, -8. What about slide 6? We're only talking about N. N is the only thing we care about. What's the ordered pair for N? What's the ordered pair for N? -1, -4. It's in quadrant 3, right? And how's it moving? How many quadrants does it have to move through? 3. So we're going to move to the left because it's counterclockwise. That's 90, that's 180, that's 270. So it's going to land here in quadrant 2. Quadrant 2 has negatives and positives. So what do I do with the 1 and the 4? Do I switch them? Okay, and then which number is negative? -4. Awesome. We're going to do a couple more. What point do I care about? T. What's the ordered pair for T? Sometimes these things the lines are hard to see. 6, 4, awesome. And how am I rotating T? 180. How many quadrants is that? 2. So T is going to go move through quadrant 2 and into quadrant 3, and it's going to stop. Quadrant 3 has negatives. So as it goes into quadrant 2, they switch and become 4, 6. And then as they go into quadrant 3, they switch back and become 6, 4 again. Which ones are negative? Somebody said both. Beautiful. Okay. Does it make a little bit more sense? Maybe kind of, sort of. These are where it goes a little crazy, right? So you need to highlight your line of reflection. Highlight your line of reflection. We're going to just pick one point. So let's choose D. So if I start at -6, -1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, -1, boom, and I reflect it over the x-axis. It goes here. What's my new number? So D single prime is D's down here. What's this ordered pair? -6, +1. So when I reflect over the x-axis, the x stays the same and the y changes sign. X stays the same, y changes sign. Then I've got to do one more thing. Then I've got to rotate it 180 degrees. So this point here comes down to quadrant 4, right? Where everything is positive, negative. So I'm going to keep those because they switch to 1, 6 in quadrant 1 and then go back to 6, 1 in quadrant 2. So D double prime, that's how we read that. Those little tick marks are called prime. I don't have any idea why. It doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. We went from quadrant 2, where it's negative, positive, to quadrant 4, where it's positive, negative. Okay. Those double transformations are the hardest ones. And this is kind of where you got to pull together all of your rules we've learned. What point do we want to do? W, X, or Z? Oh, or there's a Y in there too. W, X, Y, or Z? Pick a letter, any letter. Let's do Y. Oh, I need a color. Okay, so we're going to start at 7, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2. That's Y. So Y, where we start, is 7, 2. Wow, my handwriting is getting very sloppy. And then we're going to rotate it 270 degrees. How many quadrants is 270 degrees? 3. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and we're going to predict it's going to land in 4, which is positive, negative, right? So I'm going to switch those ordered pairs, and Y prime is going to be 2, 7, and it's going to be positive, negative, okay? Every quadrant, you've got to switch back, and then switch. So 7, 2 becomes 2, -7. 2, -7. So this is Y prime. Then I got to do one more thing. I don't know if we can see this light blue. How do I translate X -7 and Y +3? What is that telling me to do? What's the -7 part mean? Left, right, up, or down? Left. And then what's the Y +3 tell me to do? Up. Perfect. So it's like I'm going to pick up that pink dot and I'm going to move it left 7, and then up 3. Boop, boop, boop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. And Y double prime is here. And that ordered pair is going to be 2 -7, which is going to be -5. And -7 + 3, which is going to be -4. Okay. It's hard to look at this graph. It's starting to like go in and out on me. So I just did the algebra. 2 -7 gives me -5, and -7 + 3 gives me -4. Okay. Let's do a couple more, and then we'll be done. Move on to something else. don't know why that's stuck. Maybe it's too close to the edge. Pick a point, any point. I'm not choosing this time. I need to hear somebody. H. I love the definitive nature of that. So if H starts at 3, -4, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. What quadrant is H starting in? 4. What's my first step? What's that transformation telling me to do? X plus 4 and Y plus 10. Somebody unmute themselves and tell me what X plus 4 and Y plus 10 mean I do.
Right 4 and up 10.
Absolutely. So we can pick that H up and we can go right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that pink dot is going to be H prime. If it's frustrating for you to look at these graphs, like I'm telling you, my eyes are horrible. They go like in and out. The lines kind of blur. You can do this with algebra. So X plus 4 is 7 and Y plus 10 is 6. That's my new ordered pair for H prime. If you're good at graphing, you can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we got the right spot. Okay, so play to your strengths, ladies and gentlemen, play to your strengths. Now we need to do one more thing. If that pink H prime is in quadrant 1, where does it land after I move 90 degrees counterclockwise? Remember, counterclockwise is left. What quadrant does it land in? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Quadrant 2.
Quadrant 2. I love it. So quadrant 2, I've rotated one quadrant. That means I've got to do what to my ordered pairs?
Flip it.
Flip it. So H double prime is going to be 6, 7. And which one is negative? Or are they both? It's the 6. Perfect. I think we're getting it. Is that the last one? I'm so excited we got to the end. Oh, no, we didn't. We got one more. All right, pick a point, M, N, O, or P. O. So we're going to start at -3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. What quadrant is that?
Quadrant 2.
Quadrant 2. Remember, you label your quadrants like a C. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So we're in quadrant 2, and what are we doing?
Rotate.
Rotating how?
That's a great question.
That is a great question. How are we rotating? $180 degrees means how many quadrants?
2.
2. So we're going to go past 3 and into 4, right? So we switch the ordered pairs into quadrant 3 and then switch them back into quadrant 4. If you're going straight across the diagonal, right, halfway around the coordinate plane, you don't switch anything. So O prime becomes 4. Nope. I just said you don't switch anything. Got to follow my own rules. 3, 4. And if we land in quadrant 4, which one is negative?
4.
The 4. Okay. So then down here, I've got 3, -4, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is O single prime. So now I got to do one more thing. Is the line Y equals -1 a vertical line or a horizontal line? Let's plot Y equals -1. So my X is side to side. My X is here and my Y is here. So if I plot Y equals -1, that's going to be a horizontal line right there. Okay, this is a Hoy line. Horizontal, 0 slope, Y equals. So getting the right line is step number one, right? And this is like the hardest thing you would have to do probably. So instead of that x-axis, we're going to use y equals -1. So if I go from my point here, I can go 1, 2, 3 up to the line, and then 1, 2, 3 beyond the line, and O double prime is there. I know it's hard to see my scribble scrabble on the screen, but if I take O prime, that light blue dot, and I raise it up 3, 1, 2, 3, I get to that orange line or that red line. Then I go 3 more, 1, 2, 3, and I land at 3, 2. It's in quadrant 1, everything is positive. Okay. Hopefully that clears up a little bit.